on, Interpol and whatnot, and he has fake passports from here and here and here and here, and we would deport him immediately with ICE help and border protection, and he would go back to the authorities and hopefully be incarcerated and prosecuted in Mexico. Whether
Hmm.
that would happen or not under that regime, then we didn't know. Well, when those borders flooded these last 4 years, everybody's here. It wasn't hard,
Right in our
right? We know
backyard.
that.
They're our
So
neighbors. Yeah.
so not only do we have our citizens down living in Mexico, right, that are vulnerable, but now we have these, sleeper cells potentially all over America, and they are spread out through America
All around
strategically.
us.
I,
Yeah.
I don't doubt that one bit. So if we start striking cartel targets, say with or without sanctioning from the Mexican government, we got a lot of potential damage that they can
Hmm.
basically implement in the US. And our people down in Mexico could actually, it could be a horrendous terrorism hostage situation and get very graphic and very horrible
Oh,
and
it's very
inhumane. So
delicate. Very delicate.
it's a real delicate situation, and talking about it with my military comrades, and coming from a domestic law enforcement side and seeing what these guys were doing when we were fighting them,
Hmm.
when they were here in numbers, but by no means the numbers they're here now. It's a daunting task, but I think the current administration understands that. I mean, they flat out said it's going to take a decade,
Hmm.
to even find how many people shouldn't be here, revamp that immigration policy. And I always preface this discussion with, we're not anti-immigration in this discussion. We're not talking about that. We're not talking about people chasing the American dream. Most of us have immigration blood in us where we came from. I'm not Native American. I'm an immigrant. I'm sure you are. Our
Yep.
family's settled. Everyone should have that American dream. They want to contribute, not hurt the country. It's great. And Trump's talked about revamping that, but
Hmm.
we're talking about a whole different element. We're talking about a percentage of those folks that are not here for that reason.
Yep.
And I've dealt with them for 25 plus years. And it does have to be delicate, but special forces being able to target hard, damaging, dangerous elements
Yep.
is an option.
Yep.
Um, Getting Americans educated, I've always said this is a domestic priority. It needs to be treated as such. And it's not just about understanding what a marijuana enforcement special operations team of game wardens is going to do in the forests and what DEA is going to do and what our military is going to do. It's what are we going to do publicly? What are we going to do with our community members, our mayors, our governors, educating our masses, making sure our kids are trained on the
Hmm.
fentanyl crisis, on what not to do, on where to get some of the antidotes and have these Narcan derivatives, these inhalers that are being handed out to kids in high school. Like you never know what you're going to ingest. I know you're going to experiment. You're going to cave into peer pressure. I mean, all those different things have to really come into play, and we and not address the problem to the level that it's magnified to by training all our parents on human trafficking signs,
Yep.
how quickly your kid can get abducted. I mean, it's embarrassing and it's shameful to know that the U.S. is the biggest consumer of human trafficking, especially for child sex,
Worldwide.
that worldwide. Bro,
Unreal.
I know I speak for both of us. That's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
With all the resources we have, and not to be on any moral high ground, but that just infuriates me.
Hmm.
I think of The Sound of Freedom when I saw that movie for the first time over that 4th of July weekend 2 years ago with family members, and I was squeezing the handrest of that recliner seat so hard, I almost probably had to buy it. I tore it up so bad.
Yep.
Dude, I was teary-eyed. I was infuriated. I wanted to grab a carbine, get back with my team, and I wanted to decimate evil.
Hmm.
It moved me that much. And I'm not a stranger to it. I've worked these clowns, man, just not on that level. I haven't worked that particular
Yeah. Eh,
issue they're pushing,
Yeah.
but it's the same group. And to know that we're fueling that fire as Americans, that education needs to go out. And I think we need to take a humble breath and go, we need to stop that
Hmm.
and we need to attack it on the other side. So there's a whole education, community service element with our youth that goes far beyond, and I think even more important firsthand, is eliminate the vulnerability, eliminate the demand for some of these products. We're not going to eliminate drug demand. We know that. We're not going to eliminate trafficking because there's always going to be a lucrative market in it because evil does exist. But I personally believe there's more good than evil, but evil's out there. Your hat appropriately says, crush evil. I
Well,
like that hat, man. It says it best. So,
it,
but we need to, I think that's the biggest thing to do. And then just give your law enforcement teams, have the military ready if it comes down to that. Um, Fortify our public down in Mexico and let them know if you guys are staying down there, stuff's going to get pretty Western
mm,
and we can't protect you down there.
mm,
And that sucks that you would have to leave if you got a nice house down in Baja on the peninsula, you're recreating down there, you're going to a resort. I, until I started Med, I was a Baja racer and doing endurance racing on the Baja circuit on a quad and a motorcycle doing the Ironman thing. And it sucks I can't go down there. It's a
mm,
beautiful, beautiful part of Mexico and the people are amazing. It's too dangerous,
yeah,
and it's going to get more dangerous. And that's just something we got to sacrifice. And I think this administration has a major challenge because so much problems have been generated in the last 4 years. And I wouldn't wish that on any administrator, regardless of political party. But I think what can be done is being done in the best way possible with what they've got.
yeah,
And I certainly think you and I, by discussing the issue and putting it out there, we're doing our part for all Americans by talking about it
hmm,
and just trying to spread the word as much as possible. And again, I'm grateful that you brought it up.
yeah. I love your approach too on awareness is so critical because
Yeah.
you know the we had a expert on human trafficking on the podcast named Yako out of Texas, and
Nice.
Yako's been in the human trafficking fight for 35 years after when he was a child, his sister was trafficked.
Oh
And
man.
so that
Ugh.
that got him into the fight and he spent his whole career on trafficking. And he made such a strong point that if child like when child trafficking is happening in your backyard, the downstream the upstream symptoms of that are so bad for that to happen in your community, for a child to get trafficked in your community. There's so many other issues that need to be talked about if that
Yep.
is happening. So, like, where are the men? What are the men doing? Where
Yeah.
is the awareness? Where's the education? Um, there's a lot that needs to be discussed. The porn industry, that is the manifestation of the child being trafficked, is is shining light on this kind of America we need to talk conversation.
Yeah. No,
and
it's spot on.
and I think that that is, it's like all of this stuff ties together, the physical fitness, the outdoor, your mental health, your spiritual health, your emotional health, across the board as a country. All of that needs to be addressed to address some of these downstream problems. And then you are spot on that our administration now has it on a crazy level just because of the amount of people, the amount of bad guys that have crossed the border.